You're listening to the N2K Space Network.
And now, a message from our sponsor, Zscaler, the leader in cloud security. Enterprises have spent billions of dollars on firewalls and VPNs, yet breaches continue to rise by an 18% year-over-year increase in ransomware attacks and a $75 million record payout in 2024. These traditional security tools expand your attack surface with public-facing IPs that are exploited by bad actors more easily than ever with AI tools. It's time to rethink your security. Zscaler Zero Trust plus AI stops attackers by hiding your attack surface, making apps and IPs invisible, eliminating lateral movement, connecting users only to specific apps, not the entire network, continuously verifying every request based on identity and context, simplifying security management with AI-powered automation, and detecting threats using AI to analyze over 500 billion daily transactions. Hackers can't attack what they can't see. Protect your organization with Zscaler Zero Trust and AI. Learn more at zscaler.com/security.
Today is March 12th, 2025. I'm Maria Varmazis, and this is T-Minus.
T-minus 20 seconds to LOS T-Drift. Go for deploy. Roger, roll. 5.
China has launched 18 satellites aboard the Long March 8 Y6 carrier rocket from the Hainan Commercial Spaceport.
4.
SpaceXworks selects 8 companies for strategic funding increase agreements worth a combined $440 million.
3.
D-Orbit and Eutelsat partner for ESA's in-orbit servicing mission RISE.
2.
NASA launches the SPHEREx telescope and Punch mission.
1.
Rocket Lab announces its intention to acquire Mynaric.
0.
We're kicking off this hump day with news of a move that will put Rocket Lab firmly in contention with its biggest rival, SpaceX. Rocket Lab has entered into a non-binding term sheet to acquire a controlling equity position in Mynaric. Rocket Lab says the acquisition, if accomplished, is expected to further strengthen the company's capabilities as a launch provider, spacecraft manufacturer, and supplier of satellite components at scale. According to the details shared with investors, Rocket Lab may fund this and other future acquisition opportunities with proceeds from equity offerings. Rocket Lab founder and CEO Sir Peter Beck added to the press release that Rocket Lab is pursuing every part of the space value chain. We launch our own rockets, we build satellites in constellation volumes, and now we're closing in on the final step and most valuable part of the space economy, operating our own constellations to provide data and services from space using our newly announced Flatellite spacecraft. Additionally, Airbus has selected Rocket Lab to produce solar panels for 100 OneWeb LEO satellites for Eutelsat Group. Rocket Lab will provide 200 solar panels, inclusive of carbon composite panel substrates, solar cells, and photovoltaic assemblies. These panels will be manufactured at Rocket Lab's 150,000 square foot space solar production facility in Albuquerque, New Mexico. NASA's SPHEREx and Punch missions finally launched from Vandenberg Space Force Base last night. The spectrophotometer for the history of the universe, Epoch of Reionization and ICES Explorer, otherwise more concisely known as SPHEREx Observatory, launched alongside 4 small satellites for the Polameter to Unify the Corona and Heliosphere, or Punch mission, aboard a SpaceX Falcon 9 rocket. Communication has already been established with the SPHEREx Observatory. It'll begin its 2-year prime mission after a roughly 1-month checkout period, during which engineers and scientists will make sure the spacecraft is working properly. The Punch satellites successfully separated about 53 minutes after launch, and ground controllers have established communication with all 4. Punch begins a 90-day commissioning period where the 4 satellites will enter the correct orbital formation, and the instruments will be calibrated as a single virtual instrument before scientists start to analyze images of the solar wind. We're glad the vehicle's finally deployed after a number of delays. Eutelsat will collaborate with D-Orbit on RISE, a commercial in-orbit servicing mission that will demonstrate the safe rendezvous and docking to a geostationary client satellite. RISE is funded by the European Space Agency's Space Safety Program. D-Orbit is developing, launching, and demonstrating the capabilities of GEA. Now, GEA is a vehicle designed to demonstrate in-orbit servicing capabilities, including rendezvous, docking, taking over the attitude and orbit control functions of another spacecraft in geostationary orbit, all for purposes like life extension, relocation, repair, and disposal. Eutelsat will represent the customer side of the service development, providing insight into the real-world needs of satellite operators. The commercial outreach arm of the U.S. Space Force, also known as SpaceWorks, selected 8 companies for Strategic Funding Increase Agreements, or STRATFIs, worth a combined $440 million in government and private funding. Albedo, Beast Code, Cesium Astro, Gravitics, Leo Labs, Rise 8, Umbra, and Zona will receive up to $60 million each, with SpaceWorks and several defense agencies contributing up to $30 million per project. The program targets projects that have already completed Phase 2 SBIR contracts within the past 2 years. More details can be found about the awardees by following the link in our show notes. China has launched 18 satellites aboard the Long March 8 Y6 carrier rocket from the Hainan Commercial Spaceport. The vehicle was the first to lift off from the site's #1 launch pad. China says the launch signifies the dual-pad readiness of the nation's first commercial spaceport. The Long March 8 Y6 carried the 5th group of spacecraft for China's commercial internet constellation, SpaceSail. The China Aerospace Science and Technology Corporation says the satellites have entered the preset orbit successfully. And that is it for our top 5 for today's intelligence briefing. N2K senior producer Alice Carruth has more on the other stories that we've included in our selected reading for today. Alice?
Yes, Maria. With Satellite going on in DC and Spacecom Expo in London, there have been several announcements over the last 24 hours worth noting. We've included 7 additional links today: Rivada and Amentum, AI Tech and Intuidex, Radiant Aerospace and General Atomics, Space 42 and Viasat, Sidus Space and Warspace have all announced partnerships. Saudi Arabia and South Korea are also working to strengthen their cooperation, and Leo Labs is due to build a space monitoring radar in the Indo-Pacific region.
Whew, okay, that is a lot. And where can the crew find those links?
Links to further reading can be found on our website, space.n2k.com, or in the show notes on the podcast platform that you listen to us on. Just scroll down to the selected reading section.
Hey, T-Minus crew, if you find this podcast useful, please do us a favor and share a 5-star rating and short review in your favorite podcast app. It'll help other space professionals like you find the show and join the T-Minus crew. Thank you. We really appreciate it. We'll be right back.
Hey everybody, Dave here. Have you ever wondered where your personal information is lurking online? Like many of you, I was concerned about my data being sold by data brokers. So I decided to try Delete Me. I have to say, Delete Me is a game changer. Within days of signing up, they started removing my personal information from hundreds of data brokers. I finally have peace of mind knowing my data privacy is protected. Delete Me's team does all the work for you with detailed reports, so you know exactly what's been done. Take control of your data and keep your private life private by signing up for Delete Me. Now at a special discount for our listeners. Today, get 20% off your Delete Me plan when you go to joindeleteme.com/N2K and use promo code N2K at checkout. The only way to get 20% off is to go to joindeleteme.com/N2K and enter code N2K at checkout. That's joindeleteme.com/N2K, code N2K. Cyber threats are more sophisticated than ever. Passwords, they're outdated and can be cracked in a minute. Cyber criminals are intercepting SMS codes and bypassing authentication apps. While businesses invest in network security, they often overlook the front door, the login. Yubico believes the future is passwordless. YubiKeys offer unparalleled protection against phishing for individuals, SMBs, and enterprises. They deliver a fast, frictionless experience that users love. Yubico is offering N2K followers a limited buy one, get one offer. Visit yubico.com/N2K to unlock this deal. That's YUBICO. Say no to modern cyber threats. Upgrade your security today.
Welcome back. The long-awaited Crew 10 launch is due to lift off tonight from Kennedy Space Center. The 4-person crew will launch in a Dragon capsule at 7:48 p.m. from Launch Complex 39A. NASA astronauts Anne McClain and Nicole Ayers will join JAXA astronaut Takuya Onishi and Roscosmos cosmonaut Kirill Peskov as part of Expedition 73 on the space station. And while on station, the crew will engage in a wide variety of research sponsored by the ISS National Laboratory, including materials and physical sciences experiments and biomedical research. We've included details of those experiments in our show notes for you. Very convenient. The arrival of the crew will trigger the end of Crew 9's mission on the ISS and the much, much awaited return of astronauts Sunny Williams and Butch Wilmore, who have been the subject of many headlines over the last 8 months. We'll soon find out exactly how abandoned they really were. In any case, wishing them a very safe return back to terra firma and a restful time after. Heaven knows they've earned it. Also expected later this evening is Hera, which is ESA's first space safety mission, which will come to within 5,000 kilometers of the surface of Mars and 300 kilometers of the red planet's more distant and enigmatic moon, Deimos. During this flyby, Hera will be performing observations of both the planet and the city-sized moon. The spacecraft will then swing its high-gain antenna back to Earth to transmit its data home. Tomorrow, the images will be premiered by Hera's science team from ESA's ESOC Mission Control Center in Germany. ESA is then expected to share them during a webcast, so we hope to share them with you in tomorrow's show. There's lots for you to join us for tomorrow, so tune in then. That's it for T-Minus for March 12th, 2025, brought to you by N2K Cyberwire. For additional resources from today's report, check out our show notes at space.n2k.com. We'd love to know what you think of this podcast. You can email us at space@n2k.com or submit the survey in the show notes. Your feedback ensures we deliver the information that keeps you a step ahead in the rapidly changing space industry. N2K Strategic Workforce Intelligence optimizes the value of your biggest investment, your people. We make you smarter about your team while making your team smarter. N2K's senior producer is Alice Carruth. Our producer is Liz Stokes. We're mixed by Elliot Peltzman and Trey Hester, with original music by Elliot Peltzman. Our executive producer is Jennifer Iben. Peter Kilpie is our publisher, and I am your host, Maria Varmazes. Thanks for listening. See you tomorrow.